Where should I start? Well, we should start with the fact that everyone knows someone who likes to imply that they have profound connections. For example, children lie that their father is a long-distance captain or their older brother is a world-class boxer. Do you remember such a person among your acquaintances? But first things first. I lived then in a small town of about 10,000 people and worked in the office, repairing computers. We had old computers with Windows XP and sometimes even with Windows 95 and 98. My office was poor, so all computers were restored at the last minute, and when repair was impossible, they were dismantled for spare parts. I had a lot of acquaintances among other computer repairmen in the city, and sometimes we gave or exchanged spare parts with each other. And once, one of such acquaintances, also working in a small office, called me.
Hello, do you need hard disks?
Are you kidding me? Come on, sure, give me everything you've got, I said happily.
Will you give me toner for the printer?
He immediately asked. Take it. Half an hour later, my acquaintance brought a box in which as many as 10 hard disks for 40 and 80 gigabytes were dusty, in some dirt, and scratched. Where did you get such wealth? I asked him.
Yes, they brought computers that don't work.
I'm dismantling them. Do you have any RAM?
No, I need it myself,
he said and left. I immediately removed the system unit which was missing a hard disk. Of course, before installing it, I connected it to my work computer. First, I had to check if it was working and see what was interesting in the disk. The disk turned out to be working and was divided into two sections. The first one had old Windows 95 on it, with shortcuts to various games mixed in with the boring documents on the desktop. But the second section had a single folder named Community. The folder contained 150 videos named like AA.AV, AB.AV, BG.AV, and so on in alphabetical order. I started the first of them. Some men were sitting at the table, saying something, but I couldn't hear what, because I didn't have speakers on my work computer. But the man is familiar. He works as a janitor. I see him sweeping up the shops when I work in the mornings. His name is Adronov Andrei, and the file's name is initials. And what I immediately noticed, the expression on his face. The man's face was not particularly friendly, but he was happy here. I was curious as to what it was about. I wanted to go to the accountant's office and borrow her speakers, but it was the end of the day, so I just took the hard disk off and took it home. Dinner, ate, turned on my old computer, preliminarily connected the disk, ran the same first file, and added sound.
I, Adronov Andrei, born in 1965, voluntarily, without coercion, in my right mind and not under the influence of drugs, hand over my life and my soul to the community.
And happiness is in his eyes. There is a bride who has finally waited for her brightest day. What is this? Is he some sectarian or something? And then he brings up a plate. It was off screen at the beginning of the video, and there is a sheet on the plate. Natural human excrement. I almost threw up. Well, I think everyone has already guessed what happened next. Adronov Andrei, born in 1965, ate the sheet, smearing some of it on his face, which all this time was smiling happily. Then he wiped his face with a towel and the tape ended. What the fuck? I asked myself. I was utterly bewildered. I didn't know how to react. Should I laugh or be afraid that such people are among us? It was very disgusting. I switched on the second video, AB.AV, And this is where I got really sick. On the video was a very familiar man with the initials AB, who was my direct boss in my previous job. I respected him a lot. He was a tough guy with a straight and honest look. Just recently, I was at his house. I fixed his computer and I saw his wife and his 12-year-old daughter. Nice, smiling people. His daughter was in the video, sleeping on the bed behind him. She was about 8 years old from the looks of it, so the footage is about 4 years old. My former boss said the exact words, that he was surrendering his life and his soul to the community, then got up, walked over to the bed and raped his daughter. She didn't wake up. She must have been dragged. Fuck, I screamed. I closed the video player, exited the computer and lay on the bed. My heart was pounding frantically and I was afraid I was going to die of a heart attack. Later, I realized that it was a panic attack, but at that time, I hadn't read about such things. I even wanted to call an ambulance, but for some reason, I was afraid that I would have to explain what had scared me so much. In the end, I came to my senses and I kept watching the videos. I was driven by fear. I was afraid that someone else I knew was in the video. That evening and the following night, I didn't eat, sleep, drink water in glasses, smoke without a break, and watch all of 150 videos.
I, so-and-so, born in the year of my birth, voluntarily, without coercion, in my right mind, and not under the influence of drugs, surrender my life and my soul to the community.
And then, something like this. It's not usually criminal, but it's disgusting. Shit, carrion, worms. One woman had intercourse with a male dog. One man, even an adolescent, cut the throat of a tied cat with his teeth. There were some strange things I didn't understand. For example, one woman, after introductions, showed some scraps of clothes for 2 minutes and said,
"This is mine too, and this is mine."
Another man, I knew him. He was a salesman in a radio shop, was raping himself in the ass with a big rubber cock. He was in pain and bleeding, but he had a smile on his face. There was one video after which I was very much frightened. The head of our city police killed a homeless man. With the same happy smile as on other people's faces, he said the opening phrase, took an ordinary kitchen knife and began to poke ineptly at the bound man lying on the table with his mouth taped shut, wriggling, unkempt, bearded man in tattered clothes. He didn't die for long, and the video was long. I saw many people I knew there. It's a small town, everyone knows each other. I saw the guy who brought me those discs. What was I supposed to do about it? Should I have gone to the police, but not to ours, where the chief is one of them? The regional police? Or the FSB? And how do you know there is no one of them there? To the newspaper or television? How? Publish it on the internet? But through my slow internet, even one video will take forever to upload. And then what do I do with it? And where do I publish it? And I'm scared. Scared. I'll make it short and honest. I was scared. I was scared like a schoolboy who had been beaten up by his seniors and was afraid to talk about it, lest he be beaten up even more. I only had the courage to copy the videos onto DVD discs, put them in an envelope and hide them under a pile of bed linen in the wardrobe. The next day, I brought a hard drive back to the work, put it back in the box and slid it under my desk. I sat down at my work computer and started doing an office equipment report, trying to act natural. A while later, the bookkeeper came in. I gave her a friendly smile, said hello, trying not to remember what she was doing in one of the videos. She gave her a refilled printer cartridge. She remarked,
"You look pale. Are you ill or something?"
Yesterday I came in sweating from the heat. I guess I got a cold, and I coughed for plausibility. And after a while, the guy who gave me the hard drives called.
Listen, here's the thing. You'll have to return the discs. The bosses are arguing that they haven't been decommissioned yet.
Oh man, alright, come and get him, I said and coughed into the phone.
What? Are you sick?
He asked. Yeah, I was chilled somewhere, I replied and hung up quickly. I gave him the discs when he came in and tried acting naturally. My biggest fear was that he would see the fear in my eyes and realize that, man, who knows, maybe I'd disappear without a trace. Perhaps I'd be found hanging with a suicide note, or maybe, and this was the worst assumption, I'd find myself in front of the video camera and say the words,
I, born in the year of my birth, voluntarily, without coercion in my right mind, and not under the influence of drugs, gave my life and my soul to the community.
Oh, I'd instead not even think about it. I had enough for a fortnight of this kind of life, and then it was Friday, and I decided to get drunk. I had never drunk before, not even in the student dorms. My feet carried me to the shop, where I took a bottle of vodka, then returned and took another one. The shop assistant smirked when I came back, and I almost threw up in her face when I remembered the video of her. So, remember in the beginning, I wrote that everyone has an acquaintance who likes to lie about their allegedly serious relationships, and I had one. His name was Sergey. Coming out of the shop with 2 bottles of vodka, I almost bumped into him head on.
Great! Are you celebrating?
I'm not celebrating anything, I mumbled in reply, and then unexpectedly I proposed. Come with me, have a drink. He wasn't in those videos.
What? Do you think I'll refuse?
He laughed, and we went to my house together. Sergey was drunk, his tongue was loose, and he started telling stories, gesticulating and acting as usual. And after one of these stories, he looked at me and said,
Well, you know what my connections are.
I kept quiet, just nodding and not listening to him, but then I got furious and said many hurtful words to him. I wondered how he didn't knock me out, and at the end I said to him, if you're not lying about your connections, do something about it, and I threw some discs in an envelope on the table.
What's this?
He didn't get it, so I put the disc in the drive and showed him one of the videos.
Hey, that's Andrei. What's he? Oh, fuck.
There is 150 more of them. Sergey sobered up very quickly, stood up, almost without swaying, took the discs and put them in his pocket.
Okay, we'll have to pick up old connections. Don't tell anyone about it,
he said and left. I finished the rest of the vodka, then threw up and fell asleep. The following weekend, I had a bad headache and my hands shook. On Monday, going to work, I suddenly noticed a pile of rubbish by the shop's doors, which nobody was cleaning up. There wasn't the janitor in the first video. In the month that followed, people disappeared and died in our town. The chief of police died of a stroke right at his workplace. A saleswoman went out in the evening for cigarettes. She didn't return. The family sobbed and put up missing person notices. An ambulance attendant was hit by a car, and an accountant from my office once didn't show up for work and said that she had gone to some distant relatives for family reasons, but who knows what happened to her. Soon, the population of our little town was down by about 150 people. Well, perhaps not all acquaintances who like to hint about their profound connections are so blatantly lying. I later tried to ask Sergey, who had given the disc cautiously, but he said with a severe look that it was too secret for my level. Many questions remained, and the main one was, what united people in this community? Did they somehow support each other and lobby for each other's interests? But there were many people of different social statuses, and I didn't notice that their well-being improved a lot. Or was it just that they worshipped some sectarian deity together? and the video clips were necessary so that no one would have an idea to run away, so there would be a compromise. I've been thinking about this a lot and noticed one pattern. All the people in the video clips whom I knew well were very healthy and strong and never got sick. I also thought a lot about the remaining 9 hard drivers that I didn't get to watch. Yes, the videos labeled AV ended with a Z, but who knows what might have been on this besides accounting and references. And I also thought about who pressed the button to switch on the camera and whose breathing I sometimes heard behind the scenes.